Okay, there are some things that we need to talk about today, specifically talking about Q4. Because if you are feeling like you are already behind or like you are supposed to be doing more right now, I want to share a different perspective. This time of year always brings a ton of pressure. There's a lot of noise about what you should be doing, launching holiday listings, cranking out new designs, getting everything prepped months in advance. If you didn't start listing Christmas listings 5 months ago, you might feel like you were behind. And I want to share my perspective, my truth as a print on demand seller for going on now almost 3 years. My Q4 strategy doesn't look that different from what I do year round. I do not believe in panic prepping. There's this panic I keep sensing from everyone because they see this content online that's list this now and your Q4 strategy, how you're going to get sales. And a lot of the strategies that are being shared are just very focused and centered around quantity. So in this video, I want to walk you through the 3 things that I am doing right now to prep for Q4. I want to assure you it is nothing extreme. It is just very intentional steps, things that help me stay consistent and keep building my 2 print-on-demand shops. As you can see, we're behind the computer again. This video is going to be just very practical, no fancy edits, just simply sharing with you information. So the first thing that I am doing right now is I am looking at what niches performed well for me last year. I want to make sure that I still have a lot of depth in those areas. So the listings that were selling for me in October, November, December, do I still have a minimum of 25 high quality listings? 25 for me, that's my happy number. I feel like it provides enough variety, enough depth for a niche to stay visible and to convert. And then I'm reviewing those listings to see if there's an opportunity to update design styles. Some designs, I will say, I find can do well year after year. Some trends just last a lot longer in terms of font styles and design layouts. But if a style has shifted, or maybe there's something new that has been trending that I've seen work really well in one of my shops, then if the niche makes sense to bring that new design style, that's something that I'm focused on as we're gearing up for Q4. Now, if you don't really have anything that is working in your shop just yet, that's okay. If I were starting from scratch this Q4, one of the things that I'm currently focusing on and that I think you can focus on as well are the keywords that are focused around giftability. So things like gift for, phrases that are in line with passions, interests, hobbies, those are often what people are searching for during Q4. This is just my own experience, what has worked for me. I'm not a big fan of seasonal listings. I used to chase seasonal listings, the Christmas themed things, Halloween themed things, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, all of those types of events. I'm not saying that they are bad. However, they had me personally feeling like I was a hamster on a wheel, that I was just constantly going and going and going, and it really burned me out. It wasn't the vision that I had for myself with print on demand. So I have shifted more towards a probably 80% evergreen amount of listings in my shops. Some of my listings still do lean a little bit more seasonal, but most of the listings that I like focusing are evergreen. And that is going to be still my focus going into the Q4 season, because these are things that keep selling well into the new year. This is exactly what I did actually back in 2022 when I started my first shop. When I started my first shop, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit chaotic all over the place. I was working a lot, listing a lot in that shop, and it did bring results. But what continued those results and actually what led me to my first $1,000 profit month in January after Q4 was already over was the fact that I had already been working on evergreen niches, and the little bit of sales that they started to get during Q4 when people were searching for these for their giftability to give to a loved one who was interested in the passion, hobby, interest that these evergreen listings fell into, that momentum carried into January and really set me up for an entire year of growth. There's always a lot of talk about how Q4 can really just take your shop to a new level and you can explode during Q4. And yes, that can be true to some extent. However, an explosion in Q4 that can't continue into the new year, I think would probably be one of the most disappointing things. Yeah, it would be fun in the moment when you're having that explosion in sales, but then if you're not having them in the new year and you just don't really know how to get back to that point, then that can be pretty frustrating. So I'm very focused on sustainable growth. I like to have consistent monthly recurring revenue that I feel I can depend on. That was one of the scariest parts of pursuing full-time entrepreneurship for me. I loved having a salary. I loved having a consistent paycheck. I just didn't like how small my paycheck was. I wanted a bigger paycheck. That's what print on demand has given me. And the way that I've set it up with evergreen niches has allowed it to be very sustainable. Now, the last thing that I'm doing right now is research. This isn't something out of the ordinary. Everything that I've stated so far isn't out of the ordinary. I'm doing all of these different things really all year round. Just because I'm looking at Q4 right now and looking at what did well for me last year, I'm still doing that in the summer months, in the beginning of the year, and always making sure that I have that depth in my shops. That is what helps contribute to that monthly recurring revenue. And so all of that to say, I am doing research because I want to make sure that the listings and niches that I currently have and I'm already in, I am ahead of the curve. I want to make sure that I'm updating them, adding new things, making sure that I'm staying in line with what is already working. And I do also want to experiment with some new listings for my shops this Q4. Quick side note, I actually just published a 46-page guide of how I am making $400, over $400 a day with my 2 print-on-demand shops. As you can see, there's a lot in here. And I'm mentioning this because in this guide, so my first shop, if you did not know, I started it during Q4 of 2022. And then my second shop that I have, I started during Q4 of 2024. Because of the Q4 season coming up, I actually kind of break down what that month by month process looked like, growing those shops, what I was focused on, what I did differently between the two, what I did similarly between the two. And I even do a breakdown for where you can see the month by month as well. I know that that can be inspiring for some to see what the views, the orders, and things like that looked like. So you can get a free copy of this in the description box below. It's pretty chunky, but I think it's a pretty easy read and there's a lot of really good actionable insight in it. So I hope that you find it helpful. But what I want to get into is show you what I'm doing for my research, because I have been having so much fun researching today, which I have actually been using a new tool that is within Profit Tree. If you have watched any of my income breakdowns on my channel, Profit Tree is the tool that I use to track my profit in my shops. It is specifically a tool made for Etsy print-on-demand sellers. It integrates with Etsy, it integrates with Printify, Printful, and you can at a glance in real time see your profit. It is incredibly helpful. It eliminates human error so that you are not manually tracking in an Excel sheet or anything just incredibly tedious like that. I love it. But they actually just added in a research tool. It's their Etsy radar tool, and it's actually pretty incredible. I want to share my screen so that you can see what it looks like. I have it installed as a Chrome extension. You can also use the tool directly inside of Profit Tree. If I go over here, I'll show you what that looks like. So when you're logged into Profit Tree, you can, of course, see all of your reports, your profit tracking, looking at the breakdown of your products, your listings, ads, orders, all of your analytics. But if you want to do product research, you can go into Etsy Radar. And here is where you can grab the Chrome extension. I already have it installed. And then you can go into the product finder and do some research directly here in Profit Tree. Or you can do what I personally like to do and look directly on Etsy. And what you can see down here is the Etsy Radar tool. For Profit Tree, I just want to add really quick that the account that I am using right here with Profit Tree, I have their lifetime access. So it's actually only $67 for their lifetime access. It's not a recurring subscription, which I love because in print on demand, it is very easy to start racking up a lot of subscriptions. There's a lot of design software and research tools, and just, if you know, they really can add up. So this is a account with just lifetime access, and I want to show you everything that I can see in here without having to upgrade my account, pay a subscription, or anything like that. I think it'll be really helpful, especially because you also have the profit tracking. But needless to say, this is what it looks like. When you click into the Etsy Radar, you can see quite a few things. I can see all of the listings that are currently on this first page of search results. I can see the price, monthly sales, monthly revenue, total revenue, the demand column. I absolutely love this because these are indicators that I'm looking for when I'm doing this research. Things like in 20 plus carts, 9 have sold in the last 24 hours, 5 carts, 20 views in the last 24 hours, 6 have sold. The fact that I can see it quickly at a glance without having to click into listings has truly made my morning. That is one of the things I've really been enjoying with this tool. You can see a lot of the other typical things like views, the listing age. I'm always inspired by listing age, as well as if you go over, you can see the shop age as well. Shop age always has inspired me because if you're a new shop, I think it's very encouraging to see newer shops as well and see what they're doing to have the success that they are. I like that there's a column to see whether or not these listings and these shops are running ads. If you know me, you know that I personally am a big believer in ads. I love ads from the perspective that they can help you get information. They can't help you get sales directly. Ads are a tool. I'm going to link actually. I have a full video where I talk about ads, my ad strategy, who ads are for, that I encourage you to watch after this. But using ads, the information that you get from them helps you get sales. So it's more so sales are the byproduct of what you do with the information from the ads, if that makes sense. But it's just very interesting to see how many listings. I mean, okay, there's one. There's one so far scrolling down through that isn't using ads. I think that's very interesting. You can see average order value, rating, reviews, whether or not it has free shipping or not. That's super helpful, especially if you're doing pricing research, being able to see if somebody's offering free shipping or not, whether it's a personalized listing or not. Maybe you're looking at something more specific like Halloween shirts if you are looking to design something more seasonal. And then you find that majority of the Halloween shirts right now that are selling, making money are personalized, then that might be something that you want to consider if you're looking to add value, stand out, and really perform well in that niche. Favorites, you can see any badges that a listing might have. So Etsy's pick, bestseller badges, that's super helpful because sometimes you can't see that information just in the search results. That's another thing that you sometimes do have to click into the listing for. And then just some information overall about the shops. Honestly, almost absolutely everything that you could need to see at a glance, and use this as your stepping stone to then dig deeper. So if I'm looking at t-shirts, I often am going to want to see if I can pick out some specific niches within that align with my passions, but also what I can see to be profitable here. That's what I like to call the sweet spot. When you're finding something that is not only profitable, but also something that you're passionate about, I think that's truly the best place to be to make sales on Etsy. If you're only focusing on things that are profitable, then you're probably going to start to resent the things that you are creating because you're not going to enjoy it. You also might not find yourself to be as successful in those things because you don't understand it. If you're not passionate about it, you might not understand the nuances to the specific niche. That could lead to a lack of sales as well. And on the contrary, if you're only focusing on things that you're passionate about, this is where I see a lot of sellers get really disappointed because they're doing things that they love, but the things that they love aren't selling. And that also ends up leading to a lot of people quitting. If I can find something that fits both of those categories, that is chef's kiss. Amazing. So what I've been doing all morning is just kind of scrolling through, and then I've got my sticky notepad here. I've been writing some things down for what's inspiring me, and I have truly just found this to be so incredibly helpful. The best thing that you can be doing for your Q4 strategy is keeping it simple. So let me just walk through a quick little checklist, the things that I'm following, the things that I'm working on that I encourage you to be doing as well, and hopefully release some of the Q4 pressure. First thing is just review what's working. Of the things that have been working for you, go deeper into them. If you don't have anything that's already working, that's okay. Just pick one niche that's upcoming to go deep and go all in on. Like I said earlier, my happy number is 25 as a minimum. Creating a lot of different unique designs for that one niche is going to give you a more well-rounded picture as to what is and what isn't performing and doing well and helping move the needle for you. Second thing is focus your keywords around giftable language. Giftable language and keywords are going to help continue your momentum post Q4 season. And 3, Use real data before creating something new. This is definitely not the time, and really no time is ever the time. But nonetheless, it's not the time to be just guessing to what you think is going to be selling. Use real data that is in front of you. Whether you have a research tool or not, if you don't have a research tool, you can still do research. It's going to take you a little bit longer, but it's worth doing and investing that time. That would be looking at the listings that are ranking on the first page of Etsy. What are the keywords that they are using? Do they have bestseller badges in 20 plus carts? You can see this information when you click into listings. So for example, if I click this listing right here, boom, I can see it's in 20 plus carts. Yes, I do have to actually click into it. So yeah, that provides a little bit of an extra step, but it's still things that you can be looking at and researching. So if you have a research tool, amazing. It's going to just kind of streamline that process a little bit for you. If you don't have a research tool, you still can be doing research. And please, please, please be doing it before you create anything new in your shop. Last but not least, most importantly, don't let Q4 turn into chaos. There's a lot of commotion that comes around Q4, a lot of fearful FOMO. You need to be doing X, Y, and Z today and yesterday. And I think there's a lot of push of more during Q4. And more does not always mean better. Better means better. And consistent effort in the right direction is going to lead to growth. So I think it's a much better use of your time to move slower and create higher quality than it is to just get a bunch of things out just for the sake of getting a bunch of things out, because that's what the common word on the street is to do. So those are my final thoughts. I have all of my free resources. I have the guide down below that walks through my personal strategies, my personal approach, and what that consistency looks like. Definitely be sure to check them out. And if you want to try out the Etsy radar tool, I do have a link for the lifetime access to Profit Tree. If you want to try it out, I highly recommend it. It's been so much fun for me in my research routine. If this was helpful, if you enjoyed this video, this style of video, it's a little bit more casual, less edited, just information. Give it a thumbs up. That just lets me know that you're enjoying it. Comment down below if you have any questions. The next video on my channel is going to be a full research with me breakdown. I'm going to be doing my research for my September trend report. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to go down and boop the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you do not miss out on that next video. And as always, I hope that you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.